We are joined by Riho Terras. He is an MEP from the European People's Party, but also a very long history and personal history in the army in Estonia. Sir, first of all, I want to ask you, going into the summit on Thursday, there's a lot of ideas floated. Joint debt, less bureaucracy, a stronger single market, all of this in the name of defense and security. Do you have any hopes that we get to a real breakthrough?
Well, I still have hope in Europe, and I hope that European leaders understand that we are at the current moment in the situation where only Europe can deal with the European security, and the rest is assured by the others.
And when you hear things like Eurobonds, joint debt, we all go into the market as Europeans and we tap markets for more debt to be able to pay for defense. Is that something that you go, yeah, ultimately there's no other option?
No, I'm not very fond of loans, and I should admit that countries should find their own resources to increase their defense expenditures and not do it together.
I want to talk about the trip that you took to the United States, but before that, when you think of the idea of a pragmatic federal Europe, do you like that? Is Europe a federation? Should it be a federation?
Well, I don't think we need to discuss it today, because we see that there is no chance that the Lisbon Treaty will be changed. So we need to concentrate on things which we can change and which we can do, and that is one thing. We need to invest more in defense, separately every country, but together also.
And you were in the United States on a diplomatic mission and a trip. I believe you also attended an event which President Trump also was in attendance. Did they call you weak, decaying, your face in civilizational erasure? Did they say that to your face, or is there a lot of theater built in the language?
There was a lot of theater, and the whole event was pretty crazy. But the message there was very clear. Everything they say, they mean it. And they mean that they say that they are dealing with their own hemisphere, and what is happening in Europe should be dealt by European countries. The message is Europe is the second richest economy of the world, which means Europe can do if they want, and I agree with them. I mean, Europe can do more.
But help me understand, when you say that they mean what they say and they say what they mean, what does that actually mean? Is it Europe now takes care of its security? Ukraine, it's a business for Europe to deal with? You have to find a peace deal? What's actually at stake?
Well, what they say is that the US has paid too long and too much. 75% of the NATO has been paid by NATO funding has been paid by United States. They think it's unfair. They want to see deeds, not words. And what they say, yes, the summit said that the NATO countries are ready to spend 3.5% on defense and 5% altogether with the resilience funds. But they don't see real actions. They always mentioned Spain, etc., who are not really paying their part. And they say European countries need to pay. It was, of course, very easy to be an Estonian there, because the Estonian government has allocated 5.4% on GDP on defense. So everywhere where I went, they said, we are with you, we are with you, we are with the Baltic countries, but we want to see that other big European countries start to pay also their part.
You know, to be clear to some extent, the Spanish, what they say is that 5% NATO was totally random, only created to appease Trump, and that really NATO has always been measured in capabilities. Obviously, that is the counter-argument. But I want to ask you about Greenland. Did that come up in any conversation? Is it bluff, ultimately? Has that question been sealed?
Well, I guess that question has been sealed. They understand that the effort to take over Greenland was not a sane one. People in the Congress said that is not going to happen, but they understand also that Greenland is not defended enough, that we have to invest as a NATO more to the Greenland's defense.
What about when it comes to Russia? Obviously, the criticism has been that the deal that was initially placed on the table was pro-Russian. It was not a good deal for Ukraine. What did you get out of those conversations? What's the state of mind, the zeitgeist, when it comes to a potential peace deal?
Well, the President Trump and all his administration thinks that this war is something which happened because Obama and Biden allowed it to happen. So it's their war.
So not Putin.
They want to have a peace, but they don't feel that it is somehow has something to do with them. It's of course Putin, but they say that that is the presidents of US who allowed that to happen. I'm not sure whether that is the case, rather not, but still they think that to end the peace, end the war in Ukraine is something Europe has to deal with.
Very briefly, do you trust them? You had meetings with them. Did you come out of it thinking, okay, we can work with them? They're not very polite, but we can work with them.
I trust that NATO still exists and that there's still all discussions with congressmen and senators assured me that they are still part of NATO, but they want us to do more.
Well, thank you so much. Of course, that has been now the fundamental question for a few weeks, months now since President Trump returned to the White House. What is the value of Article 5 if the U.S. is not committed to NATO? Of course, Maeve, that is it for us on day one here at the European Parliament, but more to come from today and tomorrow.